everybody. It is Wednesday. Yep, not Tuesday. The 21st. 21st. Look, I'm making eye contact, not looking at the date, even though the date's right there. Oh, crap. I looked at it. So, hey, guys, we're here. You're here. People are here. Don't know who's here yet, but we're here. And I say we. It's just Jeff and I. Like, bam. It's just Jeff and I because Rosie's like, oh, I'm going to go to soccer practice with the kids today. And I'm like, whatever. And now Jeff's going to bust me out. Watch. Ready? Here it goes, man. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, you're down for this, are you?
Just get it out.
So while we were in Phoenix, so if you guys don't know, Charlie was fortunate enough to have his grandkids move in with him and stuff, daughter's home and all that neat stuff. So he actually told Rosie, hey, if you want to spend time with the grandbabies, you go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and run the business. Well, now she decided to do that today, and Charlie just doesn't know what to do with himself. He's like, oh,
I'm like, wait, you're going to bail on the show? You got to answer calls and look pretty and stuff because people want to see your face, not mine. And they want to see you doing things like this. Oh, God. Alan Becker, what's up, buddy? Hey, I'm going to call you. That may be
yeah.
longer. Like I said, yeah, it changed times and all that stuff. It's probably good we actually went earlier because we actually got to talk about a bunch of stuff. So what's up, Alan? Sitting in Martinsburg, he said. Sean Holloway, the Mad Texan. Yeah.
Alan, Charlie, your audio is so quiet. I told you so, Charlie, before the show.
What?
Your mic is a little low.
Really?
Yeah.
It's going really loud on my end here. Hello. It's yeah.
Oh, Jiminy.
There's a weird glitch when I don't know. It comes and goes sometimes with the when I play that intro video. Watch, my sound's gonna get really loud later. Oh, it's like I don't know what to
Could
do.
be because we were on Teams and now we're not.
There's that. I don't know. It's
Could have
really
messed up your
loud in my
sound.
head right now. Is that any better?
No, nothing changed.
Really? Hang on. Watch this. I'm gonna do a thing. Jeff, I'll be right
What?
back.
Okay.
You have the show, sir.
I have the show. I guess we're pilots now. Yeah, Ken. I kind of I noticed that before the show. Sean Holloway can't see live stream. What's up? I don't know, Sean. I I I I don't know. When Charlie comes back, we'll ask him. How's that? Oh, I see what you're doing. He just logged out, so he's gonna try and go. Dennis Lewis, how's Jersey treating you? So I was telling a few of my friends I haven't actually been here in several years. Enough time to where a lot of the construction that I was worried about hitting is done now. So that was kind of nice. So we're doing that. I officially signed the ERF ICOA on Friday. So hopefully Becky and her crew will get me actually on that pay package. I'm going to be doing this for about 3 weeks, and then I got to head home for some medical stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we can do. There he is.
How's that? Any better?
No, it's
Oh
the same.
hell! I give up. I don't do. I can't turn it up any louder. I can
Just
yell real loud, like, "Hey, you!"
just lean into it. You know you want to
Dude, it's like on my lips right here. I'm like, "Hey now."
do the Howard Stern and just right on there.
Yes, sir. We're in it, and it's still showing really bad on my screen. I don't know why. I don't know what to do.
Hey Matthew, which Petro? I'm broadcasting from Bordenton right now. So yeah, doing my 34 year. This is like the few times I've run Jersey. I actually like this truck stop for whatever reason. I don't know. It's mostly clean for this area, but and like has a gate, which being from the West Coast and not LA, I'll put that in there. Not LA. That's important to me because y'all scare me over here.
Now I got it.
Oh,
Oh,
there
that's
he is.
crazy loud. So apparently, somehow, while we were talking, some weird thing happened, and the mic was coming from the camera way up here.
Oh,
And it was
that
using
was-
that mic instead of this mic. So when I got real close, it didn't change and nothing changed. And I turned it up and oh my God, now it's probably crazy loud. Let me put it back to there. How's that? And are we better now? Are we better here?
We're better.
All right.
We're all better. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, guys. Yeah. What I miss? What I missed? Did I miss anything?
We're talking about who's where.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Matt's following me around, man. He's at the same truck stop.
Not really?
But he's richer than me, so he's in reserve parking.
Oh, he's the smart one.
Yeah. So you want to do this fuel surcharge thing before you forget?
Oh God, no more. You guys already know. Whatever. Let's do it. I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna hit this button. We're gonna come back. So there you go. National diesel price has gone down, much to my sadness. We've dropped 0.069 to 4.964. The West Coast Pad 5 went down from it dropped 0.046 to 5612. Brings our fuel surcharge this week to 0.625, which is a drop of 0.021, y'all. But the West Coast is at 10 because that gap between the two is 0.648. Right in the middle of that 10-cent bar there. So, yeah, you know what? There it is. Let me change this thing along the bottom because the ticker, that's what it's called. Whoa, I hear crazy sound. I hear the ice maker. That's awesome. And we're going to fix that so the fuel surcharge is there. And then we're going to go like this. And I'm going to click on some buttons. And we're going to go back to the other screen so Jeff doesn't get mad at me because he likes to hit me. Sometimes he hits me when people can't see. Oh, good God, dude. That was beautiful, man. I like it.
So just for the record, the people that are following the chat over here, no. So I figured me and Matt probably got to Troutdale at the same time. I got to Phoenix first. Thank you very much.
Right.
And I got to the Petcher over here in Jersey last night. So who's following who there, buddy?
Right. So, speaking of Matt Nissen, excuse me, it's Nissen, like listen. Anyhow.
Like Nissan.
No, not Nissan.
Oh,
Nissen.
I'm wrong.
Yes. So we did a video with him while we were at Fleet Week on a spreadsheet that he made, which is pretty good for tracking stuff. I haven't gotten a chance to cut that together. I was going to try and cut it together today, and I just ran out of time. We had a couple of meetings we had to deal with today. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. So, Matt, I haven't forgotten about it. I am working on it. He says he's stalking his prey.
He'll never find me.
Be careful. I don't know. You're pretty easy to find.
I blend in.
Matt, look for the bungees on the hood. Look for the bungees on the grill. My bad. So yeah. What are you guys thinking? I'm just saying. Trucker Dan. Hey, buddy. Nope, boss ain't here. If she is, she's watching at soccer practice because she's one of those people.
Yeah, so Charley calls everything above the 40 Canada. I call this area Europe. So.
Right. It's crazy. You don't want nothing to do with that mess. You can have it. What do we got going on? I'm in New Mexico, headed to Orlando. Sean Holloway, what's up, buddy? We should come hang out. When are you going to be here? Maybe I can swing so I can't even talk like I can do anything else. Greg Hudson, what's going on, man? Dennis Lewis. You and we are going to have a discussion, sir. Yep, get ready.
I'm just saying.
Keep it there. So I'm going to put something up on the screen here right now. And it's a short 2-minute video that I would like you guys to follow along with. You're going to have to bear with me because when I close everything out, I had to bring it. I had to kill it. So let me find this. There it is. I'm going to share that. And bear with us for a minute here, you guys. I would like you to pay attention to this. The words that are being said. And then we're going to come back, Dennis.
Yes.
I need you to really pay attention to what this video is stating. And this is from one of our live videos back on June 14th. The pay period, and I warned you that it was a convoluted answer. This is truly a convoluted answer. So, if you are on a load that requires you to scan paperwork, Phoenix, because of the system that they use, will only guarantee that you'll be paid for that load if it is scanned in to the system by, I believe, 2 or 3 p.m. Phoenix time. Tuesday. Yes, on Tuesday. I apologize. Tuesday. That is the important part of that whole statement, and I left it out. There's something wrong with my brain. If you're on a load that does not require scanned paperwork, such as a T-call, a Walmart load, something like that, where you don't actually have to scan bills, then you have pretty much right up until midnight Wednesday to get that in. And it should, the keyword should, fall on that pay period's settlement.
What that's going to depend on, by the way, is on T-calls and dedicated runs where you don't have to scan paperwork. It depends on the staff, the back office staff, actually finishing that load in the system by midnight.
Right. They have to final it out and all that stuff.
Right. So like when I was working the Opelika account last year, that was something that I made sure I asked them, especially if it was like, 2:00 in the morning, which was midnight Phoenix time.
Right.
Did you final that out for me real quick? Because that's the cutoff. And I want to say that it's important to note the language in that statement that Charlie made. What it is that your bills, when you scan them, they go to a clearinghouse. That clearinghouse collates the data and sends data packets to Swift's payroll several times a day to be processed for payroll. They guarantee that loads scanned by 3:00 in the afternoon on Tuesday will make it to payroll in time for them to finalize payroll on Thursday.
And I'm going to throw another caveat on there. They guarantee about, mostly. There are sometimes occasional issues in the system, what have you, that sort of stuff.
Well, if it's a bad image, that's the main thing I've seen.
Right.
But so I very rarely have loads that I scan in on Wednesday night even that don't pay. And so when I talked to the payroll people about this, when this policy changed, because those of you, again, that have been around for a while, remember the accelerated pay where we didn't have to scan anything to get paid.
Right.
All
right. There we go. Mr. Dennis Lewis got Jeff and I called to the mat today, stating that we said something else. And we didn't. This is the same thing that we have been saying all along about the change in the pay period. You have to get stuff scanned in by Tuesday, 3:00 Phoenix, to be guaranteed to get that on the current settlement. If you're on a load that does not require anything to be scanned, you have up until midnight Phoenix time on Wednesday for it to go through, and it usually will go through. But to be guaranteed on anything that must be scanned, 3 p.m. Tuesday, Phoenix time. Our pay period is, in fact, Thursday through Wednesday. That is a true statement. But to have those loads counted and paid on that week, if it requires paperwork be scanned, it must be done by 3 p.m. Tuesday, Phoenix times. Just saying. Just throwing that out there because...
like we said in the original video, it's a little convoluted. And experience is the teacher here. Like I said, a lot of times I will scan a load later than that and get paid for it, but there's no guarantee about that. So we don't get upset if we don't get paid for something we scanned on after that 3:00 p.m. on Tuesday. So, and we'll reiterate again too that if that one load's gonna throw you in the lurch, we need to talk. That shouldn't be the case. It's just gonna pay out next week. So, really, you should be in a position where it doesn't really matter. And if you're not, we can discuss that and get you back on track. So, and I know that for a lot of you new guys, that might still be the case because Charlie, when we first started out, maybe not you because you were like a rich guy back then or something. I don't know.
You're funny.
But there's that period when you first start out where you really are just living settlement to settlement. Man, it hurts if you don't get paid for something. And just know that if you're in that position, guys, and you're newer, it gets better. If you're in that position again after being out for a while, if you need some help or some consult or something, we're here for you. We can help you run through some numbers and maybe figure out how do we get you back to that good place where that 1,000-mile load that pays out next week instead of this week. Okay, I got paid for it. That's all that matters.
Right. Hey, we got a call.
Are you done? Are you done, Charlie?
I'm done with that mess for now.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow or something, Dennis, if I can get a time to do it. Looks like Alan's on the phone. Alan's on the phone. What the? So it says Alan Becker, no topping.
That makes sense.
That's what the Google Translate wrote down. No topping. Just saying. So, Alan Becker, what's up, buddy?
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
Good. Over here waiting for my load to get here.
Oh, that's always a bummer. Could be worse. Could have no load and you're just wondering what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, she called this here from Phoenix. And then I guess the guy's taking this load up from somewhere. This is his home load for Martinsburg, and this is my home load to my house.
Oh, so the swippy-swappy deal.
That sounds like a good exchange to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, this works. I'll wait.
Rosie, look at her. Sure, I'm not answering phones and people call. Yep. Apparently.
So it's you, Rosie.
It seems that the data shows something. I don't know, babe. I love you.
So I
awesome.
thought you were spending time with the grandkids. Are you what are you doing there, Rosie?
Well, she can't get enough of me. Maybe it's you. I don't know. Somebody, she can't get enough of something. Wow, that was a big block of text that just popped up. So I would get to that in a second. Alan, so what do you got going on, man? Just hanging out, or what are you doing?
Just hanging around.
For those of you who don't know, Alan Becker is the guy that got to shave Brett Stewart's head. Did kind of an amazing thing and donated $1,000 to Swift Charities and made me look bad because the top bid before Alan was $300. I'm like, I'm going to do 301, and then Alan dropped $1,000.
He just does that.
just out of nowhere, just bam, here.
I'll tell you this, Alan. Though when we were talking to Titch and some of the other people that are heavily involved in Swift Charities, there was a tear in those eyes.
Like legit. And you guys again next year. Only it's going to be our movie star head of driver development, right? Shaving his face and his head.
Jordan Bean. And when we say that, in case you guys don't know, he's legitimately an actor. The guy's amazing. He runs driver development. He's an actor. He freaking does choppers as a hobby and restores cars. The guy's just like, he must sleep like 2 hours a day, right, Charlie?
If that. But
very charismatic, and we shave his head and face next year, and we're going to start that drive a little early. So hopefully we get a little bit more, because Swift Charities, man, they do some good work.
Next year, just let you guys know, we're coming for his head.
Absolutely. That didn't sound creepy at all.
Yeah, so he's also.
Listen, hey, I'm gonna say this now.
Well,
I already pledged to commit $5,000 to doing this.
Oh hell!
For next year.
Well, I don't know if I can beat that.
I'm just not even gonna.
You're gonna have how many trucks by then, Alan?
I should be at 4, possibly the 5th.
Good God.
Yeah, so Alan also, another video that Charlie's in post-production on is me changing my airbag.
Right.
Out in the parking lot at Swift Transportation in Phoenix. Didn't require a jack, but it did require some tools. So I'm not going to give it away. You're going to have to watch the video, see how we did that. But so he's kind of becoming our mechanical guy at Contractors Corner. And he is a small fleet owner. So if you guys have mechanical questions or wonder about how about growing a small fleet, how about you give him a little jingle? I'm flipping him off right now.
Nice. Well played, sir. Well played.
He's all walking around all nonchalant.
Right.
I don't see him.
That's great. Matthew Nissen found Jeff's truck.
Well, it's not hard when you give it a description like that, Charlie. Holy
My
cow.
bad. My
I didn't know
bad.
you were working for the enemy there.
You know,
So
he's not the enemy.
Now I lost my
Conspiring.
train of thought. So if you have questions about mechanical stuff or growing a small fleet, Alan right now is our guy.
Right.
No pressure, Alan.
Right. Right. Yeah. None at all.
No pressure. Just me, right? But, I did call you, Charlie, because I wanted to pick your brain.
Right.
And Jeff knows what I'm going to do in November already.
Because I answer my phone,
Truck number
Charlie.
3. Yeah.
Look, man, it's been a busy day.
Actually, he sent me the voicemail and called me back. So it's okay. But at least he called me back.
Look, I called you back. You didn't answer. It's not my fault.
I know. This time it was my fault. You're
See,
good.
there you go. See,
But
you're trying to
truck
throw me under the
3,
bus.
I am going to get another flatbed truck and put it flatbed.
Oh, cool. That'll
here's
be
the
interesting.
I'm going to put a team I'm looking for my current truck, and I'm going to be the one running flatbed.
Oh, okay.
He misses it.
I miss the activeness level,
Right. I can see that. I just ain't got it in me, man. I thought about it. Rosie and I thought about doing that when we were looking to actually step out to Mercer and God, years ago now. And I was like, man, that's just going to destroy me.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I'm going to run a flatbed truck from November to April until I can get truck number 4. And if I say, hey, someone else can have it, somebody else can have it. But probably not, because I'll have 4 trucks at that point. I can slack off a little bit.
Right. Hey, we got a question here real quick. If you enter a 3-year lease purchase, and after you do the lease purchase for 6 months and realize that the lease purchase isn't for you, can you just walk away, or how does that work? Jeff, go.
The simple answer is no, you can't just walk away. You're going to be liable for any payments or anything like that until they lease that truck to someone else. That's just the reality of it. The contract that we all sign when we go with an IEL lease. I would question, so why is it not for you? What is it that about the business? Is it the business in general? You just don't like doing it, or you're not making the money you want to make? I mean, we can definitely help you through some of that and maybe get you to a point to where you're happier.
Right. And are you in a current lease now, or is this just hypothetical?
Charlie and I both went into this all in. There was no getting out for either of us. We made a decision, and good or bad, right or wrong, we just muscled through the bad times. And we're better for it. So that's just the game we played.
Yeah.
Oh, check this out. This is actually kind of an interesting thing. This is something we briefly talked about with Brett today. So Roland made a mistake. He decided to bobtail from Lancaster, Texas to Laredo, Texas. He said it was a huge mistake. Laredo will not dispatch you. Lesson learned, never bobtail, always deadhead. So, and what that is there is and Laredo is his home. Just so we're clear. So, you know what I mean? Didn't even get to play the favorite card there. So the reason for that is you came from a different market, and the Laredo market is definitely its own market. And basically what you did is you put yourself in their market without a trailer to replace anything that they might have you take out. And apparently there's actually a thing right now where several people recently have been told they've decided to, that's where I was going, Roland. They were actually told, nope, sorry, you're going to need to go back to the market you were in and get a trailer because there simply are no trailers in that market. Some markets are super heavy with trailers. Other markets are completely bone dry and they just don't have trailers in those markets for whatever reason. I'm thinking Laredo is because of the cross-border thing and things might be delayed and things like that. So, man, I'm sorry that happened, brother. I'll always give someone a call and make sure that type of thing is not going to pop up to you. And then we go on to Simple Express. He said it's simply a hypothetical at this point. Okay. So I would say, you know what? I wouldn't even look at it that way. I wouldn't even be contemplating that part of it. That it seems to me like you're quitting before you start.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, Charlie and I both went in both feet, charging ahead, whatever his stupid airborne thing is. I don't know.
Whoop, whoop.
So that's just in any business endeavor. And that's
all the
what
way.
This is. You have to be all in. And that's how you succeed.
Right.
Or like the 4 businesses I had before this, you fail miserably and end up having to close your doors or whatever. And you learn something for the next time. I mean, that's one of those things. Succeed or fail, you got to learn something.
Right.
And in your scenario, can you just walk away? No, you really can't. Not without consequences. If you get into the position where that's the only choice you can make, though, I hope you learn something in that journey. Because, this is, business is a tough thing. There's a reason why not everybody does it. So that's my spiel.
I dig what he said. Keep going till FUBAR. FUBAR, y'all. For those of you who don't know what that means, look it up. I'm not allowed to say it on the air.
Yeah, we're a PG show.
Right. And I think that one's going to get me in trouble with Jeff, and he's going to smack me and stuff later on. That's right, Kim Kelly. Tell him no knocking the airborne. All the way, sir. All the way.
Yeah, I see. I'm going to get Matt and I a load down there. We're going to hunt you down. He's
that
bigger
could be
than
fun.
Both of us.
That's okay. You know what? You know what? Speaking of a Matt, not that Matt, we have another caller. I'm going to bring him up just for fun because what could happen?
Matt Wright?
Yeah. Oh, wait. And Google said Matthew Wright, as in Wright, RIGHT. Check on you, catch up. So there you go. That's what it says. This could be interesting. I'm going to bring him up. Be like,
what are we catching? That could be kind of scary.
I don't even know.
That one.
What's up, Matt?
Weird introduction that Google gave. So that's interesting.
It's fun.
So, yeah. By the way, you didn't answer the phone the other day when they called you.
What? You know what? Stop crying. We're live on the air. None of you are crying. Everybody knows. Death from above. Airborne.
I was calling to tell you happy birthday. You didn't answer.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. My Venmo code is. Oh wait, never mind. Hang on. We got like a legit thing. I just put a full set of Michelin XDM drives on you. XDM. Please tell me that's XDA.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is hurting my brain. Blackbeard.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to do. Now I have to go find that. Oh crap. I hung up the phone.
On who?
I'm there.
You guys are still there? Oh, great. I closed out that window on accident on my browser, and that was almost terrible. Let's see. XDM. I'm looking up some tire stuff here. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
I'm almost willing to bet it's the XDN.
I'm going to hop off real quick.
All right, Alan, you be good, brother.
I'm about to hop in the shower and go get some dinner.
Oh, that's hot. I mean, what? Did I say that?
So while we're trying to figure out Blackbeard there, can you have a camera removed, or can I do it? If you're talking about the smart drive system, you have to have that done at a terminal, and they will charge you $100 for that.
It has to be one with a body shop too.
Right, and I would say that's the best $100 you'll spend this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those cameras are pretty bad.
Yeah, we've seen some interesting. Yep, XDN2s at Charlie.
Okay, I'm going to share
So-
something here.
So can you stop making fun of me now?
Nope. 'Cause
Ah!
You do better already. So I'm going to share another screen here. And I'm going to show you something. And this is what I'm going to show you. So this is the X-Line Energy D Plus, which is the current drive tire with really good rolling resistance from Michelin. So let's see. I should put that on the screen while I'm describing it, huh? And you'll see that number 100 right there. So that's going to be your base, meaning this is the tire you're going to compare it to. So 100 is what it is. That's the number you want here. So when you swap to the XDN2, what that did is it changed your rolling resistance up 56 points per tire. And what that did, I'm going to let Jeff actually dip into that because he can give you specific numbers about this. And
Okay, so
it's not too late.
So I had those tires, and the only reason I kept them is because I spent a shit ton of money. Sorry,
That's
a ton
okay.
of money on them, and I couldn't bring myself to get rid of them. So I figured I'll just run a test. Those tires are costing you 0.43 miles per gallon over the Energy D Plus. That's what it's costing you.
What was
So
that
it's
number?
cost-
0.4 what?
0.43.
Point
We did the
43.
calculation on the group a few months back because someone asked me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to finally do this and find out what these tires are costing me. So 0.43, that's $4,300 a year. It's $4,300 a year in profit down the tubes because of tires.
Each year.
Yep.
And those tires are going to last you a long time. They're made
Yes.
to last a long time.
Yeah, so Charlie was looking at my tires, and I've got some, what'd you call them, heel toe wear, which is
Yep.
due to torque
Right.
on them. But other than that, they've still got over half their life on them, and I got them last September.
Yeah, they're doing really well.
For
Unfortunately.
wear.
I made that same mistake.
Wear. But they are costing me. By now, I could have actually bought a full set of the D pluses for what they have cost me in fuel mileage.
Right.
last year.
Retail.
Yep.
We're not even talking the discount price. We're talking
So,
about retail
but-
price.
Put that other screen. Share your screen again, Charlie. Call in studio, huh?
Yeah, you like that?
That's not what I wanted. I wanted the tire thing.
I just put your phone number up, Matt. You're welcome. Oh,
No, okay.
God. That was great.
So here's how I made the mistake I made. I did not understand how this calculator worked. I put in the X-Line Energy tires, the older ones, after the tires that Les Schwab was trying to sell me. And I did not understand that it was a base. The first tire you put in there is the base. I thought it was, 100 is the rolling resistance and 156 is the rolling resistance or whatever. That's not the case.
No.
It bases whatever the first tire you put in this calculator, it runs the base off of that tire, and then it shows you an up or down on rolling resistance on subsequent tires you put in.
So that's an interesting statement there. 2 tanks so far, and I gained 0.53 at 68.
I dropped.
What kind of tires did you replace?
Yeah, what
Maybe
kind of
that's-
tires did you have before?
Maybe that's the better question. Because I can't remember. I remember I've seen your tires. I saw your tires. I touched his tires once.
PG.
It's not weird. Stop it.
Kind of weird. Just saying.
Yeah, you know. What are you going to do?
But Jeff, I don't want you had that conversation with you about how much you were losing for the tires because we were comparing them at the time to the Bridgestone M770s, which were a comparable tread.
Right.
And I got those tires in 2019, and when I traded my truck in back in January, I had those tires on them with 358,000 miles later, and they still probably had a quarter life left.
So Blackbeard said he had some retreads on there. So here's what I'm going to say. Yes, you probably ended up doing a better tire, However,
than what you had.
However, if you had you gone to the Energy D Pluses, you would have probably seen a full mile per gallon.
Yep.
Increase. So, I mean, hey, look, man, I'm not cracking on you. And look, it worked out for you in this case because you didn't go from a better tire to a worse road resistant tire. So, hey, you'll get great traction in snow and mud and stuff like that. I mean, that's what those tires are made for. They are a good tire. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, as far
they're
as
not
fuel
really
mileage.
for our operation though.
Right.
I mean, how I got them was I bought them. This is my first foray to try and get away from Swift a little bit more. So I went and I got myself a business credit account at Les Schwab, and they don't do business everywhere. So you guys know it's a Western regional tire shop that's got a really good reputation. But the town I was living in, Rainier, Oregon, is a logging town. They are logging tires.
Right.
They're an open tread, really aggressive. Yeah, I don't get stuck.
Right.
They'd
be good. They'd be a good flatbed tire for you guys that are out there in the construction sites and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows my wide singles I had, the Michelins I had, you put me in sand and it didn't matter. I couldn't stop.
Ooh.
Yep. Just start spinning sand and then it's just horrible. They were great in ice and snow. I didn't have any problems in any of the mud lots that I pulled into back in the day when I used to do stuff like that. But sand was their kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it is what it is. So, you know what? You made a good choice. Those tires will last you a long time. But if you want to absolutely get the best fuel mileage you can, even doing 68,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would look for the Energy D Pluses. I'm not going to tell you to go out and change it now because, you know what? Maybe do it at half-life. Make back the money you lost.
I plan on replacing mine either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And I'll probably get a hell of a credit for the casing because they'll still have a bunch of tread on them.
That and when the tires wear down, he is going to see a mile per gallon increase. So no matter what, it's still going to be a better tire
than what he had.
As they wear down, he's taking fuel. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's just keep it in context though, for what he could have gotten.
Right. Correct.
Versus what he got. There is a serious pocket hit there.
Yeah, and it is a little different than my experience because I had the Bridgestones on. And even compared to my Bridgestones, those tires are crap on the rolling resistance. So I went the other way, Blackbeard. I dropped 0.43 because I was going from a better tire to a worse tire for rolling resistance.
Oh, so we got some more from Simple Express. So Simple Express said the reason I was asking. Oh, sorry, Matt. Simple Express said the reason I was asking that question is because I ran my own business for 5 years as a hot shot business. I wanted to step up to semi, so I started working with an owner operator as a company driver. And I'm really not into the whole company driver thing. So I was thinking about doing the Swift MRP and try that out. I was hoping it would work for what I wanted to accomplish. Keep in mind, like we said earlier, that the contract is what it is. I mean, look. Maybe you decide it's not for you and what have you. I get that. Sometimes things happen. Just understand that from a contractual basis, from a contractual standpoint, you are responsible for those truck payments until they get it back into their fleet, sell the truck, someone else leases it, something along those lines. Sometimes it happens quick. Sometimes there's people waiting. Sometimes it does not.
Right.
So,
and I would say this too, that if you've already run your own business in the past, especially in transportation, I think you will probably be more successful than the average guy that say goes to the Swift Academy, drives for a year and leases a truck, because you already know like how to track your numbers and how to build relationships, right? Because I assume in the hot shot business you probably had to build your list of clients and whatever, of people that you could rely on and say, hey, I need some work. That's kind of the same. Even at a mega carrier like Swift, Charley and I have our little black book. Hey, I'm stuck somewhere. Let's call Omar. Let's call whoever. Right.
So hopefully that touches on what you're after, Simple Express. Hey, and by the way, if just in case you're not already a subscriber to our little channel here, I'm gonna say I'm gonna do some early housekeeping here and say, hey, click that thumbs up, click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the little bell icon and select all, so you find out when we put out all these little videos and how-tos and things like that, as well as our weekly videos. You'll know when we're going live or we just put something up. So if you could go there, hit that up. If you're on the Facebooks, hit Jeff or myself up if you want to talk more about specifics and actually run some numbers with us.
Run some numbers, yeah.
You know,
like numbers.
Yeah, and we'd be happy to do that with you, man. Simply look up Jeffrey Morton or myself, Charley Mahon, Mahon. It's the last name. We actually use our real names on Facebook. Reach out there, shoot us a PM or something like that, and we'd be happy to talk with you, man. Or if you would like, I could probably, I don't have Rosie to come write down a phone number. Maybe call in next week's show when I have Rosie run a phone number. Something like that. Yeah, something. I don't know.
We're so professional around here.
Right? like, oh my God. And Robbie Mead had a question. He said, where is the best place to buy these tires? Well, wherever you can get the best price. Whoever has the tires you need at the time, sometimes is what you have. I typically go to the Loves, the Petro, or the TA, and I use the Swift's National Michelin tire account, and I get a good, I get a good price there.
Do you get casing credits when you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's something that
Their casing credits are normally higher than what Swift gets.
So, yeah, that's like a thing. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Robert. And let's see. Ken Kelly said, don't replace tires in the middle of the winter. New tires are slicker than baby snot on a doorknob until they are scuffed in. Okay.
Well, you have to put that in
That's
context
colorful.
too, Charlie, because he runs that Canada.
Right.
That you
Deep
don't like to be
Canada,
in
yo.
anyway. He's up there in the Northwest doing weird stuff that, I don't know.
Yeah, Simple Express, if you want to talk to us directly, man, we would absolutely be willing to do that with you. What was that, Matt?
You leave the North alone. We like it up here. Actually, no, I hate it.
Whatever, man.
But it's a nice area.
All right, let's see what I got going here.
So you want to go over deadheading and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Matt, I'm going to drop you out of here, buddy.
No,
I appreciate you.
I was calling to tell you that I'm being sent the spec sheets for that international.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Juice is supposed to be sending it to me today. We'll see if I actually get it before he leaves, but I was supposed to get it today.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be two of you that are going to be getting that truck, so we'll get some good numbers from you.
Yeah,
talking to the Swift mechanic guys and the international guys that were at Driver Appreciation Week, it's looking pretty positive.
Time will tell, and we shall see. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. I'm gonna drop you in a queue and tell you, and I'll let you hang up and all that stuff so that you don't miss stuff.
Okay.
All right. Be safe, brother. Bye. So yeah, we wanted to talk about there's a comment there's been several of these posts over the last couple of weeks about not taking loads that have long deadhead on them. Something in the range of 50/50s, like 50% deadhead, for 50% loaded. And there was one this week that I kind of keyed in on, and I'm pretty close on the numbers. I didn't go back and actually pull the post, but it was right around the individual was given 250 empty miles on this load and 300 loaded miles. And what had happened was he didn't like the numbers on that. So what he did was he actually declined the load. And, it was just too much deadhead for his taste at the given time. But what happened with that, I got a sneeze coming on. This is going to be terrible. Hold on.
That was
there we
special.
Go. That was good. I turned that down. You guys got to watch it without the sound. And I hope you're thankful for it because it was gnarly. So He turned it down, and what happened was there truly wasn't any freight. So he ended up he was 18 hours into a 70 on that clock, and he sat for like 36 or 40 hours or something along those lines. Okay. But here are the numbers on what happened. And then when he came back, he felt the need to drive, 70 plus miles an hour so he could get over 700 miles done the day that he did come back to work because he needed to get something on the books. So he was out there hustling. And I told him, well, what did that cost you and things like that, versus running your normal speed or even running 60 miles an hour. I don't remember the answer to that, but here are the numbers based on what the original thing was. 250 miles empty would have paid him 85 cents a mile for the empty miles and would have paid him $212.50 on that part of the mileage. The 300 loaded miles would have been paid at that higher band, so it would have netted him, or it would have grossed him $393 for that part of the load. And then the fuel surcharge, using this week's fuel surcharge, would have paid an additional $187.50. The grand total was $793 even on that 250 empty, 300 loaded with the fuel surcharge and everything else. That would have been the gross compensation for that load. It would have, calculating at 7.5 miles per gallon, which I think is low, but okay, would have cost him 73 gallons of fuel using today's average price. That would have been $364.02 for fuel costs, leaving this is a oxymoron, a gross net of $428.97. So he would have had revenue on that load of $428.97 for that day, and possibly gotten into maybe another market
with better freight.
Right, with better
any freight.
Right, or into a position to just keep going. So you have to break that down and say, okay, look, we're not saying take these long deadhead loads carte blanche. I mean, you should definitely call. And you should say, hey, is there anything better? Is there anything else we can do? Maybe we can split the difference on these empty miles. Maybe you pay me half loaded, half empty for that. Something along those lines. Sorry, a question popped up. I'm going to get right back to you, Simple Express. But there is some talking that can be done there. And, you can ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. But when it comes down to it and they're like, look, this literally is the only thing we have. This is the only option we have for you. And you still decide no. And you end up sitting. What did that cost you to sit versus making $428 gross versus making zero and having to idle for 36 or 40 hours? And the lost revenue completely, and all the other expenses. So, I typically use a magic number, $1,000 of lost revenue a day for every day that I don't run. And so, with that being said, is it better to take the $428 or lose, $600 on a solo? I still think it's $1,000 a day right now, honestly.
Well, and we've talked about this before, Charlie. You have to make these decisions based on the numbers, and what is the state of freight in the market you're in.
Right.
Now, you guys know that I just loathe going through Oregon now that I've moved away, and it's not necessarily. I grew up in the Portland area. Oregon's still kind of my home at heart, but the taxes in that state are insane. So I prefer not to run there. But if I'm coming out of the house and I'm sitting in West Valley and nothing, and I call Jared and he says, well, we have one load going to Seattle. Otherwise, there's nothing until Monday. Guess what I'm doing? I'm going to Seattle, which I know is going to cost me on the taxes. You have to do what it takes to stay moving. I would rather take a smaller profit than no profit at all.
Right.
And something that was brought to our attention is make a phone call. Can Swift subsidize some of those empty miles? They might not. But here's the thing that we were told in our meeting today is don't just accept the load before you ask, because once you've accepted the load,
oh yeah,
you're locked in. They're like, no, you took it, bro. We might have
Right.
done that, which they won't tell you. But now that you've
Right.
accepted the load, you're hooked. Make that phone call before you decide what to do.
Yeah, and it just doesn't hurt to ask.
Mhm.
What do they say? No.
The famous example, that I always tell people is a couple of years ago, they really needed trailers down in Ontario, California, and I was in New Mexico. I was actually sitting at the terminal in Albuquerque, and I came across take a trailer down to Ontario, and I said, well, that's like a lot of miles. I'm not doing that. So I made a phone call. They ended up paying me loaded miles the whole way to take that empty trailer down there. And by the time I got there, they already had a load for me to pick up. They were just shy assets, and it's okay to scratch their back, but they need to scratch your back too, right? I'm up here in the Northeast, and I've done a lot of those. You guys that are around Jonestown a lot understand this one. Yeah, we need this Glidden paint run done.
Right.
It's round trip. It's like 200 miles round trip, but it'll take you all dang day because the Glidden paint place is in Jersey.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know about that, man. They're like, well, what's it going to take to get you to take this? Because we need it done, and we're short tractors. Well, I know. What do you got? Well, if you do that one for us and this other 300 miler, we've got they'll usually give me like the two shorties and then give me a list of 3 options. We can either send you to Lancaster, Texas,
Right.
Salt Lake City, something that with a lot of legs on it. They're bribing me. They bribe me to do those loads, and I'm fine with that.
It's building goodwill with the planners.
That's right. And they remember that too. Back when I was, I haven't run this area in earnest in probably almost a decade, but back then they knew when my truck entered their market because they would call me and say, "Hey, we need this done." I'm like, "Okay, well, what do you got?" They knew the deal,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just expected you, like, oh yeah, he's gonna want to do something here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to go back to Simple Express real quick. Some quick numbers here. So as of right now, working as a company driver for an owner-operator, I'm averaging between 3,600 and 3,800 miles a week. Oof, that's a lot of miles, man, at 58 cents a mile. So at 3,800 miles a week, that's 2,204 gross. Look, that's not terrible money. But that's a lot of work you're doing, man. I don't even know how fast you're driving to get that many miles in on a week, especially if you're doing that every single week. That seems like a lot to me, and it seems like you're going to have to drive fast to crank those miles out.
To give you an idea, Charlie and I run slower than you're probably running, right, Charlie?
Absolutely.
You're still running slow, right, Charlie?
60 miles an hour. I did 65 to and from Phoenix.
Well, that was a special.
Full disclosure.
So when I had a truck payment, I don't have a truck payment anymore. Charlie helped me run numbers because, I was at the end of the lease trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And we got my truck up to netting in the bank, 86 cents a mile. And I was only doing 2,600 to 2,800 miles a week. So I was making pert near what you're making now, doing less mileage and less work.
Right.
Basically. And then now without a truck payment, I'm sad if I'm not above $1 a mile profit. It hurts my head when I don't reach that goal. So
as a matter of fact, for you at your net 86 on 2,600 miles is $2,236. So you're beating him with 1,200 less miles per week by $32.
There you go.
And way less thinking and way more laid back.
And y'all know how I like to run. I run my 6 days and then I take a 34 every week. Right. That's what I do. I paint my little nerdy Army guys and call my wife and kids and do the show when it's actually on Tuesday.
This is an interesting statement. So I actually talked to Jason today earlier. I seem to be getting loads already committed, not pre-plans. That's
what account is he running though? Because on some accounts that's a thing.
He's OTR reefer.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's a weird thing, and there are some serious communication issues that he's having with the OC I don't
Right.
think I'm sharing too much there. We've got him trying to do some things and talk to some people and see if we can't make some changes for him on the back end on the support side, because he is getting destroyed right now because of the way things are running and the way things are just developing right now. So, and keep in mind, guys, we should be starting that upswing again, hopefully fairly soon, the normal market upswing for the upcoming holiday season, the winter rush, and all that sort of thing. So bear that in mind. And again, though, with that comes those trailer hoarding pools. So be aware.
Which hopefully Freight Box will be up in a couple of weeks like they want it to be, and that'll help.
I want to reach out to Nate this week if I can, Jeff, and see if we can't get him on next week's show to really dive into it. I was saying that earlier. Now, I forgot to tell you earlier, so I'm just going to tell you now. I was thinking if we can get him on to actually discuss how we discussed in his office that day, that because the videos they put out about it so far don't really tell you much. They're like, it's going to be great.
They're okay, but they don't do the program justice. That's for sure.
They don't do any justice to it at all, if you ask me. From what you and I saw versus the video they put out during Fleet Week. Well, it's funny. They were talking about it in one of the videos during Fleet Week, and I think it was the day you and I were actually on the Swift show. And I went back and watched that today, and I was like, wow, that's a terrible kind of video segment for it, because it really doesn't tell you what it's doing, honestly.
Right.
So,
and I'm just going to put out there too, because this keeps coming up on the Facebooks. What they're working on with FreightBox right now is not going to be available to outside carriers at all.
Right.
This is not hey, you can lease a Swift trailer and here's how you do it. That's not what this is right now.
Right.
They did tell us that eventually they're going to build that into it, but they only trust about 10% of their power only guys that work the Swift logistics side to even have access to that technology. And this isn't
open to outside carriers that just are pulling completely random freight. It's only to their power only people that run night Swift freight, and it's for those loads that they need a Swift trailer because they're power only to pull that night Swift logistics freight. And like Jeff said, it's only about 10% of those guys even that will even have access to it, because they're the super trusted carriers and all that sort of thing.
Right. And the part that actually made me giggle a little bit was they floated this phrase rogue trailer. And I got really excited about that, because me being me, Charlie, I'm not a thief, right?
Right.
So to hear how many of these power only type own authority guys actually steal our trailers was kind of shocking to me.
And apparently they have one carrier out there that does this a lot.
Enough to where they're getting sued.
Yeah.
We don't know who it is because they wouldn't tell us. But
they charge them a daily rate now. They're invoicing them a daily rate for the trailers that they're stealing, and then seeking other legal action against them on top of that. So someone's going out of business is what I'm going to just throw out there.
The way he was explaining it to me just kind of was like Old West type BS. He said these guys will literally just like, they'll be at a Walmart DC and like, oh, there's a Swift trailer. They won't notice one of their trailers gone. They've got 40,000.
Right.
Well, yeah, they do.
Especially in the
with
past,
this thing, because
that was true.
Because with the new tracking system they have put on these trailers, it notifies Swift when it starts moving, so they know when someone takes a trailer.
Right. It's crazy. It really is kind of cool technology, and I'm glad that it's coming. And I'm really excited to actually get Nate Obrey on here to talk with you guys. I just hope we can talk him into doing it. So Simple Express says he's doing 73 miles an hour, and he runs from Colorado to the East Coast and back. So, keep in mind that if you make this switch, though, you're not going to want to run 73.
Right. The thing is that working for another guy, right? You're not paying for fuel. And at 73 miles an hour, you're burning a lot of fuel to turn those miles.
If that guy was paying you a percentage of his net, I bet you'd be driving 60 miles an hour.
Yep.
Because that money would be a whole lot more than that $2,200 a week.
Yep.
Just throwing it out there.
I mean, I'd have to see what the guy's operation is. I mean, maybe he's running 2 pallets of bubble wrap.
Right.
Each way or something.
Could be,
That has to be there because of national security or something.
Right.
And he's getting paid a buttload of money to do it. Sure. Okay.
Right.
But that's probably not the case, right?
Yeah, Craig, you're right, and that is a trouble yard for sure. They need to tighten up that Avenel yard, and
Yeah, as a
yeah,
matter of fact, Craig and I's clashing of the minds the other week is what brought us to really find out what Freight Box really was. And he actually observed a guy scanning the barcode thing, the QR
the
code on the side
QR.
of the trailer, and taking a trailer out of Avenel. So of course, Craig is here thinking, well, that's what Freight Box is. That's BS, and he'd be right if that was the case. But
And
basically, what
justified.
we found out was that what he observed was a guy stealing one of our trailers. That's what he observed.
True story, because they were adamant. This technology is not even available to out those even that 10% right now. For them to scan that QR code and get that trailer assigned to them that way. It is not even available yet. Not even on the test side. Well, I take that back. There are 20 drivers at Swift, and there are 20 drivers on the night transportation side that are currently testing and started testing Thursday or Friday. And what Craig Hutchinson saw started a couple weeks ago. So that he witnessed a set, didn't even know it, and the guy just played it off like, yay. I mean, and that's how blatant people are about this stuff. It's crazy. Yeah. So Robbie Mead. Robbie Mead said, just before that one, he said most of his deadheads are 200 plus miles. Today, deadhead 225, but loaded miles on this trip is 1350. So I would absolutely do that in today's current market. I would still, I mean, look, wouldn't hurt to ask. And it wouldn't hurt to ask, hey, maybe we can eat some of this deadhead stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and again, depending on what the freight market is doing, that's part of the calculus here.
Right.
Charlie and I have been on record. We try to keep. Well, Charlie has no deadhead because he's not a real driver. That's been pointed out to him recently.
Well,
anyway,
I should show you my settlement from this week.
So, but those of us that are in OTR land, I try to keep my deadhead under about 6% normally. Right now, that's pretty tough. Like I'm having to go from here to York, Pennsylvania, pick up a load, going to Harrisonville, Missouri. 141 empty for 1,068 loaded. That's above 6%. But hey, what am I going to do? Sit here?
Yeah, that would suck, and it wouldn't make any sense. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, he's hauling beef, dude.
Oh, all right. So you're probably heavy. Well, maybe not. So beef loads are funny because sometimes they don't want to load it too much because it becomes too valuable a load. So that there's a weird thing there. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, but yeah. Anyhow, look, if you make this jump, I would definitely not be driving a 73 anywhere. Unless it just makes sense to you somehow, and there's many times.
And if you do contract with Swift, that's above the contracted speed anyway. 72 if you have a camera, 70 if you don't. And we highly recommend that you don't get a camera.
Right.
And by that, so since you're not at Swift, what we mean by that is the company's camera. Swift has a camera system that they want to put in our trucks that Charlie and I decided a long time ago. Nope.
Right.
We don't need your spy cam in our trucks. And I know that's a controversial term, but for us as contractors, if I was a company driver, it's like, yeah, whatever. I have to do this to have the job, right? But as a contractor, I don't need coaching from Swift. I don't need them looking at me all the time. So a lot of us have gotten our own cameras to protect ourselves, but we're not letting the company in our trucks like that.
Right. Where'd that go?
I don't know.
There it is. My bad. That was the wrong one. Anyhow, so just for you guys, this here you go. Here's my pending settlement right now. 2,146 loaded miles. Mind you, the load that got me those miles was 2145 loaded, 0 empty because I picked up a T-call. Then to get from out of North Carolina, I ate 464 deadhead miles at 85 cents a mile. And I got one loaded mile at $1.36.
Sweet.
So there you go. Just saying. It's there. I got
It's
a
almost
whole.
a copy.
I got 63 cents for that one loaded mile. That's awesome.
Huh.
But yeah, it was either that because I was actually coming home that day, and I'm like, look, I'd rather just leave this trailer in this market, and they're like, nope, we need you to take it out of there. Bring a trailer with you. So yeah, it turned into a whole fiasco of a day. But there you go, 464 empty miles on that deadhead out of there. It was kind of crazy. So I'm just saying, I don't even know how to act. That's probably more deadhead miles than I've done all year, just on that one.
Well, I'm coming up with a coaching program for Charley so that when he decides
Right.
to come out to the real world again, he doesn't lose his shirt.
Oh my God. So Dennis said something. What did he say? He said, Jeff, good luck on deadhead miles on ERF. Some miles might be 200.
Well, it depends on what the loaded miles end up being, you know.
Right. And again, you know, my personal belief is I'd rather run than sit. At 85 cents a mile, I'll take it. I know it sounds low, but it's better than zero and idling. And I learned something while we were in Phoenix. The way that the 23 Freightliner is set up when you idle that truck, it actually idles at around 900 RPM instead of the 600. And we believe that's to keep the DPF and all that stuff cleaner by running the higher idle. But it also means that I burn more fuel than Jeff does per hour at his, 500 idle speed versus what I'm doing. And it's a considerable amount difference. I was going to try and do the 24-hour idle test, and it just didn't work out for me. So I'm going to have to put that off for another day, but I'm willing to bet that it is not comparable to Jeff because I had to go buy fuel.
Yeah, mine, I did the 24 idle test twice in the last 90 days, and I burn 0.63 per hour. 0.63 gallons per hour is what I'm burning.
I'm willing to bet that I'm well over a gallon, it feels like. And yeah, Phoenix was hot, yo. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it was.
Craig said he can't wait to see your numbers running ERF. Just saying. All of us are anticipating this. Good, bad, and different. We're going to get some more data. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, I think Charley and I were discussing it, and chances are that what we'll find is I can make a little more money over here, legitimately.
Right.
But I'm still going to not like running that Eastern Seaboard. You know, some of you guys don't like running the West Coast. I just have this thing about the East Coast. I just don't like it over here. So there is probably a little bit of bias there.
Right.
But we're going to be looking at the actual numbers, and it just may be that for me personally, and everybody has to make their own choice, right?
Right.
That money's not worth it to me, and that's cool too.
So Brian said it's his understanding that the higher idle is due to an oil pressure situation during long idle times. Motors were essentially blowing up. I could see that.
Really, I
just wasn't oiling everything well enough. And Matt said 1.43 gallons per hour. That's what he burned in Phoenix. So yeah, considerably higher. And I looking at that rough number, I'd say that's probably pretty close, honestly, to what I saw. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And going back to Simple Express, to answer your question, it sounds like you guys are happy at Swift. And look, we have our good and bad days. We're not these diehard fanboys that some people think we are, that we're just, absolute Swift fanboys. Swift is my customer, and I'm happy to have them, and I reassess what I do every day, every week, every month, every year. And I look, is this still making sense? Am I happy doing?
I mean, for me, if I'm not looking at Landstar, Mercer, and other people once a year, and seeing what they're offering,
right,
and doing crunching numbers and looking at my happiness scale, I guess you would call it,
right,
I'm not being a good businessman.
No, I believe you're being negligent to your company if you're not.
Right. I just sat and had breakfast with a guy that's running for Mercer. Talked to him for about an hour, and we compared contracts and stuff like that. What he has to do versus what we have to do, what we're all making. And yeah, he makes more money. Hands down, he makes more money over at Mercer. It's a good company. Landstar, I talked to many of their they call them BCOs over there, business capacity operators, I think is what that stands for.
Right.
They do really well. But I also ask them, what's your rates doing? Because they're, the percentage contract. And and it's starting to slip. He says it's not the nosedive like people are talking about in his situation, but there's definitely a decline in the rates. So if it continues, he's going to be making what we make pretty soon, right? So
Yeah. So, hey, Simple Express, if you haven't already contacted a recruiter at Swift to maybe make that switch, I would reach out to Michelle Cantrell. That is our preferred recruiter, simply because we've been working with her so long and we know how she operates, and she's just not a BS person, man. She may not necessarily volunteer all of the things that you might want to know. So ask the questions. She will give you a real answer. And first and foremost, ask her to send you a copy of the contract and start reading it now. I don't know when you're thinking about making the jump. Don't know how long ago you made the jump to, the OTR world with your Class A CDL. You will have to have at least 6 months of verifiable OTR experience. I believe it's 6 months. It could be a year. I'm not positive, but definitely reach out to Michelle Cantrell at that number right there, 864-968-7605. Oh, cool. You did talk to Michelle. So yeah, that's perfect, man. She will.
Yeah.
What
I like about Michelle personally is I don't always like what she tells me.
Right.
But that doesn't faze her at all. She'll tell you, look, dude, you need to change this or you're going to be in trouble. She will tell you that, and you're not going to like it, but it's the truth.
Right. And hey, when you talk to her, mention Jeff and I, and let her know that you're talking to us, and she's going to roll her eyes and go, oh, those guys. And then she'll smile. But she knows that we're going to do everything we can to help you out and get you to ask the right questions and answer your questions, things like that. So if you do, continue talking with her and you feel like maybe we're helping you make that decision, you already have someone to give that referral bonus to, because they do offer referral bonus, especially if you're coming from the outside and going in and all that sort of thing. What Jeff and I do is we take that referral bonus, we throw it into this Contractors Corner thing to help us build bigger, better things for you guys and all that sort of thing. We're not just taking and going eating steak dinners and stuff like that. Trust me, that ain't happening. We spend a lot of time and money on this Contractors Corner stuff that a lot of people don't really quite realize or understand. And Swift pays us nothing for what we do. A lot of people think, oh, Swift must be giving you something. They're not.
Mr. Swift.
Yeah, Mr. Swift and his trusty sidekick, Jeff. And look, it is not that way, you guys. We do not make money from doing what we're doing right now. It is our intention to make money someday when we get this consulting company going in full swing, which hopefully will be happening sometime around the first of the year. So you might want to take advantage of this kind of stuff that we're doing now because, we're going to start doing some things. We're not going to charge exorbitant amounts. We are going to charge a modest fee for what it is that we do. But I promise you that when you take us up on the things we're offering, you're going to save far more than what you're going to pay us to do that.
So back to your original question, though, Simple Express. So thinking outside the box a little bit, if it's just that you lease a truck with Swift and you just aren't really digging it,
right?
Driving the big trailer, all that stuff, or whatever the reason is, can you just hire a driver to drive that truck and go back to your hotshot thing?
Right.
That's the sort of thinking that might be good for you to think about.
Yeah, maybe you don't like doing this thing. Hire somebody that does. Put them in your truck.
Mm-hmm. Charley and I's vision for the future for our own business is to set it up, maybe with a couple of drivers, small fleet like Alan's got, and we drive because we want to, not because we have to.
Right.
That's kind of the American dream, right? Gentleman trucker. We'll call ourselves gentleman truckers.
Right. and look, it's our mission to help you guys do that. I mean, if that's what you want to do, we want to help guide you into that, just like we're trying to get ourselves there. You know what I mean? Simple said he got his CDL in 2005, but I got away from working with my CDL, started my hotshot business. My business started to grow and started going into a box truck, stepped out of that. So yeah. But then I've been driving all my, CDL for 1 year now currently. So yeah, man, you should be okay to make that transition. Michelle can, inform you or guide you better on that. And so, yeah, man, I mean, I think you're probably in a better situation than a lot of people coming into it. because you've already got kind of the business background in the industry, different parts of the industry, but still in the industry itself. So you understand costs and things like that. And maybe we can help you even get better at what you're doing, man. So by all means, reach out to us and we will do our best to help guide you through that. That's what we do. And we've got an amazing group of people in our community. We have a private Facebook group with all verifiable current contractors. They are verifiable within the last 30 days. How's that? Once a month we go through and we sometimes people decide they're not going to contract anymore and they leave Swift and they terminate their contract as it's known as, not that they were fired. And then some guys just lose their trucks for whatever reason and they're terminated that way. And we go through once a month and we remove those people. We ask that if you leave your contracting position at Swift Transportation, you're in that group, that you pull yourself from the group, because it's the adult thing to do. And it just saves me all the hassle trying to go through name by name and match driver codes and all this other stuff that I do.
And just so everybody that's not in the group understands, there's actually a reason we do it that way, because there's been other attempts at having, Swift owner operator groups, and they tend to just go into this weird, I hate Swift, because guys leave and don't leave the groups, and then they complain about their experience, and we just didn't want that negative influence in there.
Right.
We're about solving problems. So we ask that if you do have an issue, Charley or I will get in there, and if we see some of that negativeness, we'll be like, okay, well, we see you have a problem, but does anybody have a solution to this?
Right.
That's what we're here for. We're not here. I get people need to vent. That's fine.
Right.
But let's get some solutions going for people. We have people from every division in this group. So, Charley and I run line haul over the road. So I know very little about like the reefer division, but we've got guys from the reefer division in there that are really good about going in and saying, okay, this is what's going on.
Right.
Ken had an awesome answer to a guy's question the other day. He really went into why there's a trailer shortage in the reefer division and what's going on with that and what Swift is doing to rectify that in that division. I wouldn't have known that. I don't see a whole lot for flatbedders, but I think they're busy tarping most of the time.
But we do have a few.
I know we have.
Yeah.
They're always busy tarping, so they don't have time for Facebooks.
Jeff's been with Swift since what year?
2006 is when I got my CDL, and I went owner operator in 07.
And I started with Swift in 08. Went contractor somewhere around 09, early 10. I can't remember, honestly. So we've been here for a minute, and both of us have. I actually just got into a brand new truck. I just retired my paid for truck. I bought on the outside, brought it in, put 1.3 million miles on it personally. The truck has 1.7 million miles on it now. Got into a new truck. So both of us had paid for trucks and spotless records, and we could go anywhere we want, and we've stayed.
Yep.
They don't pay us to say that, that's for sure.
Nope.
Look, I'd be loaded. We would be absolutely loaded by now. And again, don't get it twisted, y'all. Just because we say positive things, I mean, I've been on record several times to where the people in the big building were not pleased with the things I was saying, but they were legitimate issues and gripes and things like that. But I've always, if I find an issue, I will come back to them with, how about this as a possible solution? It may or may not work, and they're open to that. But because we've always approached it that way, they're like, oh, well, let's have a conversation. This is why we can't do it that way. This is why we do it this way. Oh, look, there you go. I actually work for Swift as a diesel mechanic at the Denver terminal. So there you go. I'm just saying, man.
That's an in right there.
Right. Absolutely. It is definitely an in.
Start talking to those leadership guys about, hey, am I going to be able to run?
For real.
Those relationships ahead of time.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you've got history there and that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm confused by that. Anyhow, so yeah, if you guys have any other questions, by all means, please throw them up. We will do what we can to answer them.
I get it. Because Simple is a mechanic. He's Alan Jr. now.
Oh, I see. Look, my
it
brain
takes
doesn't
Charley
work
a
that way.
minute sometimes, Lisa.
You have to draw pictures with a purple crayon on white paper for me to actually understand what the heck is going on. I apologize. I'm not bright. I know numbers. I know some stuff. I know how to jump out of an airplane, not die. Who else can say that? Kate Kelly, that's my man. Airborne, brother. Let's do some things. Dennis, what's Dennis got here? He put up a big old thing. FYI, it is going to get harder to find empty trailers here in about a month. They are going to build up for the surges in winter shipments. Actually, Dennis, that's already started.
Yeah, it started early this year. I don't remember it starting this early in the past.
Actually, last year, there was a weird thing last year. There was a huge trailer horde that happened, and I only know this because I was talking to people about it. Not that I experienced it, but it actually started in July of last year and went all the way through the holiday season.
I was working hard for Opelika at that point, so I probably just didn't notice it.
Who doesn't return phone calls? I would challenge you on that. She is a busy lady. If you're talking about Michelle, reach out and figure out a way to reach out to me. Reach out to me on Facebook if you can, Jeff or myself, and we can maybe,
poke the bear.
Yeah, poke the bear a little bit and see if we can't get her to reach back out to you. If it happened during this past week, she was swamped with the driver appreciation stuff. Pretty much everybody was. And so I know last week was a little tough for some of the return phone calls. So keep that in mind. And, hey, look, reach back out. There's nothing wrong with making another call. Yeah. So if that's what it is, let us know. Like I said, reach out to us on Facebook and we'll do what we can do to help. And again, don't forget to list us as a referral. Like I said, hey, look, it's a shameless thing. But you know what? I think it's going to help us help more people, guys. So Sean wants me to call him later. I will do my best, buddy. Hey, look, there's an endorsement. Yeah, I think Michelle is pretty awesome if she lays it out like it is. She told me that the average.
I think they mean EIO lease op.
Okay, makes about 18 to 20 per week. Average mileage is between 27 and 32 miles a week. That might those average mileage right now.
Little high.
Right,
but,
a little high.
But here's the thing: she's working off of the numbers that she sees in the system, Charlie.
Right, and for the whole year.
Most people don't know who we are yet.
Right.
Most people don't know about the ESA Advantage card and saving money on fuel. They don't know slow the heck down, So those numbers are not the reality for most of our members. Most of our members do better than that.
Right, and if you are not aware of the ES Advantage card that we tell people to all about and save tons and tons of money with, you can go to that website right there, essuccessandtrucking.com/cc. And when you sign up for that card, instead of Jeff or I getting the referral bonus on that one, we actually ask them to put that referral bonus back to you. So we get nothing from it other than we really like the company and they are pretty squared away. So
yeah, just so you know, Matthew, when I got here yesterday, fuel on the ES Advantage card here was at $4.10. Today you're going to pay $4.26 because it went up overnight. Just so you know.
Right.
But that's a hint to people watching. So the pump price here when I bought fuel yesterday was at $5.15 and I paid $4.10. That's the kind of discounts you can expect with that card. So.
Oh, Timothy Ransom still stuck in New Boston Terminal, waiting on passenger side door mirror assembly since Friday. Having a hard time finding mirror assembly. That's crazy.
That's that supply chain issue,
right? And that just sucks.
Man, you have damage done to your truck right now, and it's a wait. I've been hearing that from a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a bummer, man, for sure. So hopefully they'll get that sorted out and you get back on the road and making money again, man. Because hey, maybe you could ask for a rental. They got loaners.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth a shot. Never hurts to try. I mean, at least you're still up making revenue. That's another good thing about that lease program. If you're on a current IEL lease, they have a rental program. I believe it's 5 cents a mile is what they charge you for a loaner.
Yeah.
And this statement right here, I'm down with doing 60 miles an hour to get more money. That's what I do.
Yep. Yeah, the thing that you have to remember is, so of the different types of contracts in the industry, there's a reason why we preach what we do. Now, Swift is a mileage contract. It's not percentage. So given that we know what we're making per mile, the only variable is the fuel surcharge, which changes every week based on the national fuel prices.
Which is, by the way, I've been told is the second highest fuel surcharge program for large carriers in the industry. They won't tell me who the first one is, but whatever.
Yeah. So since we know what our rates are, the only thing we can do to make more money is take down our overhead.
Yeah, control costs.
Control costs. So especially right now when freight is kind of light everywhere. I don't care who you work for. Freight's light right now. It does you no good to speed up to 72 because you're still probably only going to get a finite number of miles a week because that's just what there is.
Right.
So, we've talked to people about playing that game, but I do 70 and I get an extra X amount of miles per week above what you do.
Right.
Okay. Well, I understand that. And if that works for you, whatever. I try to run my operation as lean as I possibly can. And that's born from when I first started out in 2007. Y'all know what happened the very next year. We had the Great Recession, they still call it. And I was sitting there thinking, man, what did I do?
Right.
I'm sitting 2-3 days for a load because it literally wasn't a load. So I learned how to run a lean operation and stay in business. And I still do that to this day. So that when the freight comes back to where it normally is, dude, I make really good money because I still run that way.
No doubt. Seriously. But yeah, so if you're looking to make this transition, definitely talk with Michelle. Reach out to us, man. And I say, man, I don't know. Person, people, they, them, whatever. I identify as an attack helicopter like somebody brilliant son that I know. I'm just saying. Yeah. If you have any issues dealing with the expediter or the Yes Advantage card, make sure you reach out to that email address right there. You can email them and they will respond. And if for some reason you just want to talk to somebody, guess what? They've got a phone number you can call right there, 866-811-3033. And you can call them directly and they will talk to you and see what's up. Just saying.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, they are kind of a good deal. And again, we don't make anything from that except, we're increasing our bargaining power with their system. Yep. They're getting fuel discounts based on well over 15,000 trucks in their network. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Like when we talk to Swift, the reason they get the discounts they do is their 17,500 truck fleet.
Right.
They're negotiating millions of gallons worth of fuel a month. So they get that discount based on that. Well, we joined a network that just passes that discount of 15,000 trucks to us.
100% of the discount price comes to us. They don't keep anything from the fuel cost.
And so this was interesting, Charlie. When I was talking to the Mercer guy, I wanted to mention this. We were talking about what we pay for fuel. So they're on a cost plus 5 cent fuel program over at Mercer.
Right.
And his fuel price today at this truck stop, he's beating me by 5 cents. So that gives you an idea of how deep the discount we're getting really is. It's a good discount.
Right.
It's on par with what other carriers with a discount program are doing for their
carriers with true discount programs.
And I want to point out that most of these carriers have more owner operators. Some of them are 100% owner operators. So they're right. That's their whole business. And that's one of the things. Swift is our customer. They do what they do. I don't begrudge them at all. But if I can find a better way to make more money, I'm going to do that.
And just so you know, Swift is okay with us doing these things. They're like, hey, run your business, man. If it makes sense for you, great. This is the deal that they have. We get a 5 cent rebate on fueling at the Big Five using the Con data card with Swift. And stop it. And it is just what it is. But they're also financing it. They're carrying that note for the week. They're carrying, they're giving you the finance coverage. With the ES card, you do have to pre-fund it with your own cash.
ATBS, Matthew, I'm kind of surprised that when they gave you your truck, you didn't get the ATBS packet. When I started, they contacted me because I signed up for it.
Right.
First of all, back in the day, in the before times,
Back
there
when
was
I
a
was a
separate
child.
there was a separate orientation you had to sit through to become an owner operator.
Right.
You had to go to they actually this was amazing back then. So things have changed so much. They
lot.
actually flew my student and I down to Phoenix on Swift's dime to lease me a truck. And I sat through a day and a half of orientation, and they went over a bunch of stuff, and ATBS was one of them. And I got this packet, said, do you want ATBS? I signed the thing and said yes, and they contacted me. So if they're not doing that anymore, you can reach out to them, and they'll do all the paperwork for the payroll deduct for the fees and all that stuff and get you set up. I do want to express my opinion about ATBS because people are like, oh, there you go again, another Swift program. ATBS has literally kept me from paying taxes for 14 years. I think I've owed taxes twice since I became an owner operator. And that's because I made higher than my average income. But keep in mind also, guys, I'm one of those weirdos. I had a wife, 6 kids at home, and a house
6
payment.
kids.
So my deductions were up here. But
Breeder.
they kept me from paying any taxes. Their consulting arm, though, on the other hand, is kind of why we do what we do. The advice they're going to give you is blanket advice, and mostly based on what you would do if you had your own authority, from what I've seen.
Right.
That doesn't work for Swift at all. So, and trying to discuss it with them, they just don't want to change. You know, I actually answered one of their surveys, and they wanted to know, well, why are you unhappy with our consulting? Well,
Right.
let me tell you why I'm unhappy. Nothing changed. You know, so you know, it's it's a decent deal for the service they provide on the tax side and how easy it is to file your taxes with them.
Right.
You know, the Timothy ransom, it's cheaper to just go to a local CPA and do your end of year. Yeah, it might be a lot cheaper in the from what you're thinking, but when you get audited, what's that local CPA going to do for you?
Right. Is that local CPA
ATBS,
experienced in the trucking industry? Because there are a lot of quirks about our industry in the
right.
tax fields.
Yeah. So ATBS though, if you get audited, dude, they've got your back.
Yep. They show up for the audit.
So the other thing is, how are you getting your profit and loss statements? Yeah, you can use QuickBooks and make your own. I get that. ATBS, literally, all I do is send them my bank statement every month.
Right.
That's it. And my ESA statement, my fuel card statement. That's it. When I went to buy my house, they spent hours on the phone with my mortgage broker, hammering out, okay, what do you need so that he can get a house?
Right.
Came up with documents that they don't normally produce, but I needed. They pretty much just, pardon my French, crapped them. You know.
Right.
They did a great job for me. So I will stand behind them on the tax side. Yes, they did a lot of local trucking companies. Local, you said.
Right.
Local.
Again, this is there's a difference here.
You're an OTR guy though, right? So do they understand that dynamic?
Do they understand the per diem thing?
If you're going to go outside ATBS, which whatever, you know, if you can find a guy you trust, go for it. I'm not saying the ATBS is the only game in town or anything like that. I'm just telling you what my experience is. But the number one question you need to ask an accountant if they're going to do your taxes, walk in and say, what's the per diem rate this year for professional drivers that fall under hours of service regulations?
Right.
If they can't tell you that, don't hire them. If they try to tell you, well, it depends on how much you spend on food, that's the wrong answer. I mean, honestly, I can't tell you what it is right now because it changes every doggone year.
Right.
Sometimes twice a year. But
it's
they should be able to tell you
80% of 20% of 92 of 37 divided by
tell you
Q.
The last one I actually remember was $62 a day. That's the one that's in my head. So let's just, for sake of argument, say that's what it is today. I think it went up last year, but I'm not sure. You walk in and say, what's the per diem rate for us? they should tell you $62 a day. The answer. That's the only answer. That's it. There should be no question. If they cannot answer that question when you interview them, run.
Ken said, my accountant is a woman whose husband owns a small fleet. Her and 2 other girls at work there are cheaper than ATBS, but she is local, and I got lucky finding her. Absolutely. And when you find those, keep them.
I would go as far as to say that if people in your area are looking for an accountant, Ken, tell them about them. Seriously. You know, if you're happy with them, just like I am with ATBS, you should be promoting their business.
Right.
Absolutely.
Here's one. Brian just said, Jeff, are you paying quarterly taxes? And then if overpaid, getting a refund? Or are you not paying anything and waiting until the end of the year? Do you want to answer that question?
Should I answer that in public?
I don't think so.
I'm going to.
Okay, do it. My answer is the same. I'll get out there on the limb with you.
Yeah, so I'm Jeff Morton. I live in Utah, just so the IRS knows that.
Right.
No, I don't pay my quarterlies, but there's a reason for it. Civil disobedience.
Yes.
I believe that taxes...
Damn the man.
I am one of those anti-tax people. It costs me a few $100s in penalties every year to do it that way.
Fair tax now. What?
I'm saying. I'm more of a flat tax guy, but you know.
Fair tax.
So
it's better than what we got.
The legal thing for us to say is, first of all, we are not accountants.
Right. Or lawyers.
You should seek the advice of a professional when doing your taxes. Anyway, so with that said, I have never paid my quarterlies, not once.
I'd rather pay the $200 fine.
Yeah, me too. So it drives the accountants nuts because they're like, why would you do that? I'm like, because I can.
You're dumb.
Because I can, and I've got 2 million kids that take care of that anyway. So, you know, it works for me. But since I transferred to being restructured rather to an S corp, my personal income taxes get deducted out of my pay stubs, my W-2. So that side of the house is taken care of by my payroll company.
Right.
The corporate side, I'll wait till the end of the year for that again. So,
yep. Civil disobedience without threat of jail. I'm just saying.
So Sue's question is, so with ATBS, I've gotten a little bit behind on it, but they have an app. In their app, you can click each day that you were out, and you declare whether it was a full day or a partial day, and then they handle all that. And then we need to, something that Charlie gets on my case about because I'm really bad at it, download our logs every quarter.
Yeah.
Because that's our proof that we were actually out working and not in our zip code, if we ever got out of it. So that's the answer to that. If you don't have ATBS, I mean, there's all sorts of different ways to do it. You know, what I used to do before the app was I kept track of it on my Google Calendar. And then I would tell ATBS this many full days, this many partial days out for the year at the end of the year tax packet that I had to do.
Right.
And then they would do the calculations for me.
And then James Vaughn says he's got other stuff, so he can't use ATBS. There you go. He's got other stuff that he's got his fingers in, other pots he's stirring. Ken Kelly, my brother.
I'm going to want to talk to you about that, James Vaughn, because I'm curious. Because I've got my hands in, I'm going to be having my hands in some other stuff in the coming years. And I'm wondering why ATBS won't handle that. Because they do my wife's business too. So my wife has a little art thing she does. Right. And they do her taxes as a sole proprietor.
She gets more thumbs up than we do.
A lot more.
Can you all help us out? Can you all help us out? She gets more thumbs up.
Yeah, she's got like freaking last count was like 8,500 subscribers to her stuff.
Good for her.
Tens of thousands of thumbs up over the last 2 years. Which, by the way, you guys, in case you wanted to do the YouTube thing or whatever, that's still not enough to monetize.
Right? It's crazy.
So.
Let's see. What was I doing? I was clicking on stuff. I got to go back to chat. I apologize.
Oh, so it's the border, across the border stuff for James. So, okay. That's why.
There you go.
I keep forgetting that he doesn't live here.
Right. Those of you who don't know, Mr. James Vaughn is smart, and I take that. That's not the way I wanted to say it. James Vaughn lives in Mexico. He's got some cool stuff worked out for himself that works for him. And so there's that. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, by all means, please throw them up. We're about an hour and 40 into this, so we'll probably start trying to wrap it up pretty soon. Unless you guys want to keep it going, then we'll keep it going. So yeah. Hey, Simple Express, thanks for that, buddy. We appreciate you. And seriously, Simple Express says, I'm subscribed. I hope everyone watching is. And if you're a first-time viewer checking us out, we've got lots of stuff. If you're interested in the trucking industry pertaining specifically, mostly, our niche is swift transportation. And that's where our main expertise is. It's not to say we can't help you in other avenues, but what our main focus is with Swift Contractors. So that is our main focus. If you want to talk to us about that sort of thing, we are definitely talking. You want to talk about the trucking industry? Heck, reach out to us. We'll talk it. Do your thing. We've got quite a bit of experience and, like I said, a huge group that we are a part of a community of with tons of experience.
Yeah, I mean, we've got guys that have run their own authority before. We have guys that, whatever questions you have, once you're a contractor in the group, we've got somebody that knows the answer to stuff.
Right. And chances are, if there's that weird fluke that we don't have an answer to, we can usually find the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And have credible people that can back up what they're sharing with us and we share with you.
Hey, I'm in good company. You ready for this?
Yes.
Trucker Dan.
Trucker Dan, that's my buddy.
Here too. Yep. Yeah. So actually, just to get back to that a little bit. So I actually got the idea of doing that from, of all people, one of the Microsoft millionaires that retired from Microsoft and lives in Montana.
Right.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but you'll see him in the news about every 6 or 8 years because he gets arrested for not paying his taxes. And he does this on purpose. And I remember him saying in one of the press conferences he held, because he's an anti-tax guy, saying, look, this cost me this much money. This civil disobedience costs me. If you don't have the money, don't mess with the IRS. They will get you.
For real.
So that's something to think about, guys. I do what I do. I'm not saying anybody else should do that. That's why I make that clear.
Right. Right. We are not promoting or saying this is a good thing to do.
The right thing is to, I suppose you could say, is, your accountant should be giving you, whoever it is, whether it's ATBS or somebody else, should be giving you coupons every quarter of what you owe in taxes, and you should be paying that. That's the way to not pay fees.
There you go. That sounds like smart advice.
Yep.
Do the right thing. You like that? That was an awkward silence.
So I'll let you guys know how my audit goes this year.
Right. Yeah, it's coming. We're screwed. It'll be fun. I got audited once, like one of my first years in business. It was funny, and I was all like freaked out. And all you know what they actually wanted? They were auditing me for my per diem exemptions. Mm-hmm. And so I had to take in my year's worth of logbooks, back when we had those things. And they were impressed because on the cover of every logbook, I put how many full days I worked, how many partial days I worked. Those are the days I went home or went out on the road. And on the front cover was those numbers, right? So they picked one out of the stack and they're like, what are these numbers? I said, that's how many days I was out full. These are how many days I had partials. And they're like, we'll see about that. And they went through that entire logbook page by page by page. And they pulled one more random. And then they looked at the cover of the rest when they saw that it was what I said it was. And my audit was over in 15 minutes. It was cool. We actually talked more about just life and weird things and some of the people this guy had run into in the past. And then we actually talked about our stuff.
So Simple Express. I'm guessing even with the fuel prices being, excuse me, high as it is, y'all are still making money. So here's the crazy thing. Are you ready? I hope you're sitting down.
Yep.
As the fuel prices go up, we make more money to our bottom line.
We've got a video that describes why and how that happens exactly.
Yep. Because we get better fuel mileage than what Swift expects us to get. That's the bottom line. That's why we drive 60 miles an hour. Because it's so lucrative to, like this week, I paid just under $400 in fuel expenses. My fuel surcharge is 5 something on this load.
Bless you, sir. Oh, Jeff's dying over here, guys. So, Simple Express, if you click on that little YouTube video that I just linked in the chat, that will actually take you to our fuel surcharge explained video that we made. Look, I apologize for the quality of the video. It's something I've been trying to get redone for a long time. I just can't get the dang time to do it. Or I find other things more important. I don't know. I don't know what to say there. It's my bad. Anyhow, click on that link right there. And that will take you. Don't do it right now. Don't do it right now. Do it later. Click on it and say open a new tab or something. I don't know. I don't even know how to do that. I don't even know if that works in the chat. Old. Yeah, right. But check out that video. It's not a very long video. It's only 8 minutes and 42 seconds long. It'll explain to you exactly why we make more money as fuel prices go up and why we want the fuel price to go to $10 a gallon for diesel.
Yep. Bad for the economy as a whole, good for us.
Right. For your trucking business, it is awesome. For the economy, it is bad. But I'm looking at my business.
Yep.
So there you have it. So yeah, check that out. There's if you look on just our regular videos or videos, we actually have a playlist, and that playlist is called something clever like new contractors should watch. There's a playlist of 5 videos. We recommend you check those 5 out. And give them a watch, and hopefully you will gain some new questions that you might want to ask us, or it will answer all of your questions. I don't know. Sometimes it happens. It won't answer all of them, but by all means, reach out. We're more than willing to talk.
Yep.
So yeah, guys, what do you think? Have we done some stuff today? Have we helped you out? Have we done some things that are positive?
Have we made you mad?
Dennis Luce. What? Ah, my bad, Dennis. You know I love you, man. It's okay. Got me called to the mat today is all I'm saying. What?
No.
I'm stopping. Shopping for cheaper fuel helps too. James Vaughn said that. Those are wise words, sir. So if you're not on the ES Advantage card, and if you are, you should still be using something like FuelBook. It's an app out there you can get from the Play Store or wherever it is you do that stuff. And yeah. It will help you shop for prices along your routes.
Yeah. So another piece of disclosure about the card that we promote, I think we could call it promoting at this point. Are they going to have the cheapest fuel 100% of the time? No. You know, that's why we also promote using FuelBook. You know, look at that route. What can you get from ESA? What does that mom and pop have fuel at? You'll find that at FuelBook, and see where you're at. You know, where do you get the bottom line cheapest fuel?
Right. So there you go. Yeah, we don't care which fuel card you get. We want you to find the cheapest price you can get with a reasonable, respectable quality of fuel.
You know, Angel was a part of our project looking for a card because he's been on NASDAQ forever. He's smarter than us. And
yeah.
And the ES Advantage card is a
successful young man
better.
Right there.
Yes, he is. The ES Advantage card ends up being a little bit better than NASDAQ, but you know, he was smart enough to start shopping for fuel when Charlie and I were just doing what we've always done, right?
Right.
You know,
do the easy thing.
Matt Wright was the one that forced us to look at numbers. He's like, "You guys are always talking business. Why the heck are you still not shopping for fuel?"
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's just we're successful. We're successful. I mean, what do you want? You know?
Right.
And he's like, and he literally forced Charlie and I to look at the numbers, and we're like, well, crap, I could have bought a whole truck by now if I'd been doing that for the last 14 years.
Seriously, that was the reality. That was brutal.
So, you know, we all learn. You know, if you stop learning, you might as well just crawl into that grave. That's the way I look at it. Sometimes it's embarrassing, like this is kind of embarrassing for Charlie and I that we screwed that one up. But hey, you know, now we know, and we're doing even better.
By the way, I finally watched the video that we did on our anniversary a couple weeks ago. I'm really sorry, you guys. Wow. okay, so I'm a little embarrassed by how I acted during that show, but Lord knows I can tell that I had a ball that day, and you guys put up with me. So I don't even know what to say. What does that say about you guys? Y'all are the kind of people I like to hang out with. I'm just saying.
Oh, and
That
just
was
so
fun.
you all know, it was Charlie's birthday this week.
It was. You
I
bastard.
called him. He swore at me saying, "I'm not any older. F you." You know.
Yeah, it's all good. Look, I kept it clean, Jeff. You see how I did that?
No, like
You
that
know
was
what's behind that.
impressive. That was impressive. And I'm like, what's your problem, man? I'm not far behind you. You know.
Right? Look, it's
By
only
the way,
51.
so
It's not like I'm 82 like Ken Kelly.
the funny thing is,
I love
Charlie,
you,
is
brother.
that I literally have not celebrated a birthday since I turned 40. I just can't do it.
Right?
I'm one of those people. I'm like, nope. I'm 39 forever.
Right? Embrace the age, Ken Kelly said. Hey, for real. I'm trying. Look, I honestly, in the reality of it, I don't even care. Everybody that knew me back in the day when I was much younger, nobody believed I lived past 18. And then the things that happened to me in the Army, they're like, how are you even alive still? And I'm like, I don't know. And, they say everything happens for a reason. And I am at the point now in my life where I believe that I was not killed at an early age or died or put in prison for craziness that I was doing back in those days that brought me here. And here we are, guys. And I'm happy to be here.
There
So
you go.
seriously, they say everything for a reason. And maybe this is that reason. Simple Express said Loves only gives him 16 cents off the cash price with that Loves card. No, that's okay. We're allowed to say that right here. That's a Loves card. That's their discount. That's their deal. I know where you're going. Stop it. Just don't even talk about it. I wouldn't put up that kind of post. Simple Express says Com Data doesn't give me any discount. Well, if you're using a Swift Condata card, you are getting a 5-cent rebate utilizing those big 5 truck stops. Not great, but it is something. It's better than nothing. It's better than a poke in the eye and a kick in the nuts. That's okay to say. So, yeah. And thank you guys for the happy birthdays and all that kind of stuff. And anyone that is watching this that is on my regular Facebook that's actually not in trucking, because there's a couple people that watch this stuff just because they're like, what is wrong with him? We don't even know what he's talking about. We just like to watch him talk and ramble and do stupid things. Thank you for saying happy birthday and all that stuff. I appreciate you guys. Let's see. What do we got here? King Kelly said something important, I think. Seriously, though, guys, you think figuring out trucking is hard? Wait till you have to figure out Medicare. Oh, good God. No, I don't even want to think about that. I've seen my mother have like crazy things going on there, and I'm no. That's what I got.
Yep.
Did I miss anything up there, Jeff, that you saw?
No, I don't think so.
All right, guys. Sue, thank you so much. Hey, Sue, sorry I didn't get up there today. Look, full disclosure, I did a little drinking with my kids last night and the wife, and we played Uno till midnight, and I was not okay this morning to come up there.
Uno flip, nonetheless.
Uno flip, and it was fun. And then we started making up house rules the more we drank. We were drinking mules last night, and it was something else. You know what? That's probably an appropriate name because something I got kicked. Yeah. Been a while since I've done anything like that. So, yeah. Just saying. Yeah. I have those cards for you, Sue. I'm going to do my best to try and get up there tomorrow morning before I actually go back to work. Maybe I'll have to check the fuel price, and maybe I can get a good deal at the Ocala terminal. Although I think I'm pretty full. I don't know. We'll see. So thank you for putting up with this. We do appreciate you guys and tuning in every weekend. For you new guys, welcome. We hope that we are going to be a benefit to you and help you do some cool stuff. Simple Express. My dad was airborne. Look, I had to throw that up just because I like you already. Maybe you weren't. That's fine. But your dad was, and I dig it. I'll be out of the office between 10 and 14. What the heck is going on here? It's Thursday, woman. I didn't know what you're doing.
She's putting limitations on you, man.
Right? She's like, you better get here early or get here late. That's what she told me. I will do what I can. Hey, and if by some reason I don't get up there during that time, I will try and give you a call. You should try and give me a call when you get a chance to, and we can talk about some stuff that you, me, and Jeff should conference.
Yeah,
We
with
have some
me
stuff to
and
talk about.
with me over on the East Coast, it's a good time for all three of us to get together.
Right? Yeah.
And
Yeah, we should do that. Let's see. Yeah, that's it, guys. So we're gonna call it a wrap. Thank you once again for tuning in, and you guys, welcome. We hope that we're gonna be able to help you do better and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, fishing. Good call. Oh, sounds good. Fishing. Yes. I'm catching up. I thought you were going.
you know what's
fishing
funny
tomorrow.
about that, Charlie, is that my wife knows about that offer, and she's like, "When are you going fishing with Sue and her husband?"
That's
She
funny.
doesn't want to go, but hey, she's excited
Right?
for me.
Yeah. And I think I've got Jeff convinced that you're not going to Dexter him. I'm just saying. Oh, that's good stuff. Ken Kelly, you be safe, brother. Every one of you guys be safe out there. Take care of each other. There's no one looking after us but us and people, wonderful people like Sue Smith there. One of the most squared away OCs out there. I'm just saying.
And Matthew, when I'm done here, I'm going inside for some dinner. If you want to join me,
There you go.
That's cool. I got to take off early in the morning, so I got to do that and then go to bed. But
and I've got 2 phone calls I got to make. I got to call Alan Becker and I got to call. Dang it, who was it? There was someone else. See, this is. I got to write better notes.
Go back and.
Oh, it was Sean Holloway.
Video.
Sean Holloway. I got to call Sean Holloway.
There you go.
I remember. So you guys be safe. Thank you so much. We will see you back to our regular time Tuesdays, y'all. So yeah, if this is your first time, normally our shows are Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I had some technical issues. My cable was completely gone. No TV, no internet, nothing. Like the whole town. It was crazy. I thought maybe I did something wrong, and it turns out it was like the talk of the town. Like everybody's like, I can't watch TV today.
It's a good thing you've been listening to those survivalist books then.
Right? I talked to a lady at the ABC store when I went to go buy some cigars, and she's like, "Yeah, I couldn't even go to the bar today. That's why I'm here. Because they couldn't sell me stuff because their internet was down." I'm like, "What? Okay."
That's weird.
It was early in the day too. I'm just saying. I'm not judging. Just whatever. You guys be safe. We'll see you next Tuesday here on Contractors Corner.